Well, good morning, everybody. It's Sunday morning, about 10 o'clock, and I thought I would do a video on tank maintenance today. I've had lots of requests for, what my tank maintenance practices are and that kind of stuff, so I figured I'd do a quick video talking about that. My next video, I'm going to do another Guy Jordan video with maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes of him talking and just us watching fish as we listen to Guy Jordan reminisce. In any case, this video, let's start off with the siphoning. Most of you guys will recognize this. This is your standard siphon tube, that you use to siphon the crap out of your gravel and what have you. And I do have one of these. I use it on my 50-gallon and smaller tanks. But for the big ones, I had to kind of do a custom. And I wanted to see if I could show you in comparison. This, again, is the standard. And this is what I use for my big tanks. And what it is it's your standard PVC piping attached to, I believe it's 3-inch tubes. And then I got a big plastic siphon tube attached to it. And then what I do is this monster goes into the tank, and then I drain the tanks into this shower that's in my basement. Sorry. And I don't know if this is going to work out so good, but we'll do our best here, guys. And depending on the size of the tank and the distance of the tank, I use these other PVC tubes that I attach. So if the tank's 20 feet away or so, I've got 2 or 3 of these attached. I've got various sizes that I use, like this one here is another littler one. That's what I do. I attach these. It'll drain a 600-gallon tank about 3/4 of the way in maybe 15 minutes. Draining's never been the problem. It's filling, which takes the time because I haven't really come up with a great way of filling a tank faster. Just have to have a little patience with that. And get back over here. I spilled a little water doing that, so I'm going to clean it up. And here's a 600-gallon tank, for example. And you'll notice some tape markings on the side. And what I do is I put tape on all my tanks. And this indicates precisely a 20-gallon water change, 60-gallon water change, 80-gallon water change. 80. Let's start over. 20%. 60%, 80%. And I do that on all my tanks, so I'm very exact as to when I clean my tanks exactly how much water I'm taking out. And I drain to the yellow tape once a week, and then I go twice a week nowadays on the white tape, and I do once a quarter on the 80%. I used to do, believe it or not, daily, but the last few years, with the cost of water and the environmental issues that we're facing with water and that sort of thing, I've cut back a little bit, and it saved a lot of my water bill and electricity bill, and I don't seem to see any issues with the fish. But the most important thing is just to be consistent with what you're doing. Draining the same amount every time, which is the purpose of the tape. Making sure you put in the exact same, the water, a similar temperature. I just put when I'm filling up the tanks, I turn the cold on all the way and the hot a little bit, depending on the season. In the summer, I don't use the hot at all. But I try to match the temperature coming in closely to the temperature in the tank. I actually let the water coming in be a little cooler, but it's within a few degrees. So let's see. So that's kind of that. I use Stress Coat I found that to work quite well for my systems. And then on some of the tanks, I will follow that up with Stress Zyme once every couple of weeks. I also use baking soda for my tanks. I get it in these real big bags at Costco. I think this is a 13.5 pounds. I go through a bag of that every, I don't know, month and a half or something like that. And the reason I do that is the pH in the water coming out of my tap in Seattle is about 6. And it tends to get very acidic very quickly. It'll get to in the middle of like 5.5 range. So for Central American cichlids, that's a little low. So I buffer that with the baking soda. Every time I do a water change, I put in about, depending on the tank, the 600-gallon tank you're looking at here, I put in approximately 3/4 of a cup. And of course I've got over here measuring cups and what have you for all of my little things that I have to measure. Also, to make sure my temperatures are accurate, I picked up a little meat thermometer years ago, and it works great. And you know, you just turn the puppy on, and once a week I just go checking all my tanks. This is much more accurate than most of the aquarium thermometers you can get. So I do that as well. As far as the filters are concerned, most of my tanks I have canisters. I only have one tank with a sump, and that's my 1,000-gallon system. My like my 600-gallon tanks, and you can see one down here. They are, and it might be really hard to see because it's pretty dark down here. Anyway, this is an Eheim power filter canister that's 20-some years old. I've never had to replace it. I swear by Eheim products. This was their biggest filter when I had my tank set up years ago. And they have, I think the capacity of those is about 400 gallons. So I've got 3 of those on each one of my 600-gallon tanks. 2 of them are filled with bio balls that I never touch. I haven't literally touched them in 20 years. And they just build up bacteria and let them go. The third one I have full of sponges and filter floss, and those are the ones that I replace the filter floss about every quarter, and I rinse the sponges at the same time. Also, some of the tanks have little, as you can see over there, these little power heads that I've attached some sponges to, and I rinse those power head sponges off weekly as well. That just kind of helps polish the tank and keep the water nice and clear, so you get some really good visibility for watching the fish. The fish could care less if the tanks are that clear. You know, in their environment, most of the time the water is not as clear as it is in these tanks. That's not, you know, depends on the river, it depends on the lake. Riverine fishes, the water's probably a little clearer. The lake ones, they can get pretty mucky down at the bottom when they're stirring stuff up. So as far as the fish are concerned, they could care less, but you know, for us, it's kind of nice to be able to see what you're doing. And little tanks like this one where I'm keeping my little itty-bitty fry that I raise. Of course, I just have one little sponge filter that I rinse out about every 3 or 4 days. When I'm raising fry like I am with these Adenocara Stalsbergi, I do water changes daily, and about 20% every day. So that's kind of how that goes. And if we go into the other room where my 1,000-gallon system is, we'll head in here. And in here I pretty much do the same thing. I just cleaned these 2 270s this morning. So again, the smaller 270s are powered by Eheim filters. These are newer ones. You probably can't see them too good because again they're under the aquariums, but they're also rated for, I think, 300 gallons per filter, and I've got 2 on each of these 270s. Again, they're loaded with bio balls and this little ceramic nodules, and then the top's got a layer of sponge and filter floss, and the sponge and filter floss gets replaced every quarter, rinsed out, put back in, that sort of thing. And again, I've got little power heads, as you can see, and then I rinse those the sponges out actually twice a week in these particular tanks. The 1,000 gallon is the only one that I've got a sump on, and it's down here. It's again full of bio balls, sponge, filter floss. I do again about every month. I replace these. I rinse the sponges out and replace the filter floss, and then about once a quarter I get under the grate and suck out all the mulm and stuff that builds up underneath the filter. And I've also got a UV in this particular system, and a little power head in there. That's my cat Alice, by the way. There she is again. She's my good buddy. Anyway, then in the sump, of course, are the heaters that I have, which I pretty much only turn on in the winter. In the summer, like right now, spring is when I shut them off, and I don't put them back on until about the 1st of October. And let's see, this is a 200-gallon sump, so it does a lot of filtration there. It's powered by, you might be able to see these if I move this stuff. It's powered by these Reflow pumps. Each one of these, if I remember right, was rated for 3,600 gallons an hour, so 2 of them, that's 7,200 gallons an hour of filtering that's going on. And of course I don't do much with those. They've been going really well for quite some time. I typically buy my stress coat in 5-gallon drums, and if I can get my cat to move out of the way, you can see one of the drums over here. It's about half full, and then what I do is, because this thing's so heavy, I take the old gallon drums, or gallon jugs I should say, and then I just fill it up so I can move it around easier than having to pick up this damn 5-gallon thing all the time. Let's see, what else can I say? Not really sure what else there is to say as far as maintenance is concerned. But again, I think the most important thing is to be consistent and make sure you drain the same amount of water. Each week I have a system where on Mondays I do certain tanks, Tuesdays, I basically do water changes every day, Monday through Sunday. I do it in the mornings, and I basically do the same tanks, the same day every week. I do that mostly because I run out of hot water if I don't. And in the summer it's not as important, but in the winter it's really difficult to have enough hot water to go around. I do the best I can. Anyway, so I think that's about it this time, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, next time we'll be talking about Guy Jordan and some more stuff like that. And maybe that time we'll look at this 1,000 system, where I've now got the Umbies, been in here for a month or so and doing quite well. So I guess that's it. Talk to you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.